Hey guys, it's Kelsey with k.currinfurnitureco, and this week I'm doing something a little bit different. Sorry I'm videoing this. I've already done all the projects. I just forgot to do an intro video. So this week I'm actually didn't do any thrift hauling at all. I've bought a few little pieces, but a lot of it I've kept for myself for fall and for stuff to use in next spring. But I went to DG last week and I bought several of their Christmas, or not Christmas, but the spring and summer. They've had discounted for like 75 to 90% off. So I bought a lot of that stuff and I'm hoping to use it when the new IOD stuff gets released. Their Christmas and all that stuff. So I'm excited to see what it's going to look like because I have no idea yet, and I'm so stoked because every time they release something I get excited, and it may not be stuff I use all the time, but there's always one thing in there at least that I just love. So I'm hoping they're coming out with some new transfers and stuff. So I've got a bunch of stuff to like use with. I still have some stuff from last year's transfers that I'm going to use. And I'm hoping that I get to do another like little setup in November at the Hosted Christmas Pies here in Fayetteville. It's a pretty big thing here. There's several vendors everywhere set up. The square gets decorated really nice. All the stores around the square look really good. And they have they do all the Christmas trees. They kind of vote on who has the best tree and all this stuff. So we're probably going to have the shop closed that day and then have something, because we're off the square, so we don't really get as much of the traffic square, or the square traffic. I can't talk today. The square traffic out there where we're at. So I'm hoping I can do a lot of crafts between now and then, and I'll do the videos on them. So this week I ended up using a spindle that I had. I got a bunch of spindles from a guy here in town. I spent like $100, and he had, I had a whole truck bed full, and I've got to go this weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. I had to think here. We're cleaning up my granddad's place, so he's got a bunch of tobacco sticks that I don't know where there ain't no telling where he got them. I'm going to use them for some upcoming videos. So hopefully make some stars, and I'm wanting to do some Christmas trees. So I'll have some woodworking videos coming up too of some trees, different kinds that I've seen on Pinterest, and ones that I'm going to try to keep and decorate my yard with and sell hopefully in November if I get to do that. Just depends on how the next month goes. So I was trying to think of what else. So next Wednesday, I'm going to release a video because we're getting the IOD in the shop. So I'm hoping I have enough things that I can like coordinate with the new IOD release that they're having to do some projects next week for Christmas. Because this week was kind of fall related and last week was fall related. So I'm going to try to stick with some Christmas the next two, and then we'll get back into like normal stuff. But I have so many spindles, so I'm probably going to do just a spindle video, because that and maybe a couple headboards, and try to do like I have some of that Gregory green thing that from IOD, the inlay. I'm going to try to do that on a headboard. I think L&J Goods did that. I've got several things planned. I'm trying to get more videos out for you guys. Trying to get more people out here. I'm not that great at videoing. I'm trying to get better. But thank you for all that are started subscribing and stuff, and I really appreciate it. Make this little country girl feel good. So if there's anything that you would like for me to try to see and do in upcoming videos, please just let me know and comment. Please like, subscribe if you like videos like this. I really appreciate all the viewers and everything. Thanks, guys. And stay tuned for cool projects. For project 1, I had started this project a few weeks ago and just never finished it. I'm painting French Millinery by DIY paint on here. And I had it had gotten scratched in a few places. The paint had just come off. So I was trying to do another coat real quick and to cover it. And then I'm going to take some clear wax by DIY because I'm going to take dark wax and go over it. You always want to use a clear wax before. You either do white or dark if you don't want it highly pigmented, and 2, you'll be able to pull it off easier if you got too much. And I was kind of worried at what it was going to look like. I thought it was going to be dirty looking, but I ended up really liking it. It made it more of a fall piece, so you could use it fall, spring, summer, whichever one you wanted to. So for project 2, I got these cute little totes. I got a couple of them from the DG. I had stated earlier that I went and got a bunch of stuff. Well, this is one of the things I bought. I wanted to give this like a kind of a Halloween fall vibe. So I'm using the color Black Velvet, and I'm doing 1 full coat on the entire piece, and I paint the inside just because I don't know what I'm going to stick in it yet. I styled it at the end of the video with some glass bottles and a little bit of greenery and stuff, and some pumpkins that I got from the dollar store. I was kind of having a little bit of that one little corner there. I can see it now. I think I end up getting it here in a minute though. It's crazy the things that you notice when you watch the video back. So I end up using a JRV stencil, and then I do a clear wax. For project 3, this is something I got last year at the end of Christmas. They had all their Christmas 90% off at the Dollar General. And I bought 4 or 5 of these things. And I had planned on using some molds on them. So that's what we're going to do here. And I wanted to give this kind of a fall style. So I'm using the color Pumpkin Spice by Miss Lillian's. And it's got a built-in top coat, so I don't have to seal this. Sometimes I kind of spray stuff with Rust-Oleum just in case. So here I'm using the IOD mold. Cannot remember the name of it. I do that every time, or I can't pronounce it. So here I just want to make sure that I get an even amount of the air dry clay. And I got mine at Walmart. I normally use the IOD air dry clay, but I can't, as much as I use it, this was just made more sense for me is to get it at Walmart. I paid $10 for this big old tub of it. It's worked very well for me. And it dries and it doesn't crack. So, and it pulls out of the molds very easily too. So here I just went ahead and used cornstarch in every bit of it. I wasn't sure what I was going to use or what would fit on top. So I ended up only using the big sunflower, the stem, and 2 of the little bitty leaves. I had done the big one thinking it would look good, but I ended up not deciding it didn't look good. I didn't like the way it fit on there. It made it too lopsided. So I kind of had to do the big one twice because I ripped it in half the first time. So everything came out better the second time I tried it. So here I'm just kind of dusting off the excess cornstarch that I had. So you see that I ended up not using the big leaf. I've taken it out, and then I decide that it doesn't look good here in just a second. And you can look. The reason I like working with these is because they're so easy to bend and mold the way you want them to. Some people let their stuff dry, but it don't work that great for me. And I like to paint it wet, so then it's more than likely not going to crack on you anyway, if you have the paint on there and have it sealed before it's dry. I love the details in these molds. It's just crazy things that you can create with it. So here I'm using the color cake batter. I didn't really want a bright orange or yellow, so I went with kind of a, it kind of has an orangey tint to it, or brown tint, tan I guess. And then I end up using, I try to do brown on here and I do not like it. It looked crappy. So I end up using, oh, excuse me. It's almost my bedtime, guys. So I end up using the color Black Velvet for the center of the sunflower. I finally got it out. And I end up doing a Miss Lillian's color moss for the leaves. And then I end up, I think it's Prairie Gray I use for the stem. So I end up doing a dark wax on top, and I just kind of want to make it look dingy, old, and I want to seal the paint in, the DIY paint I used, and then kind of to distress the outside. And I end up wiping it back with a shop rag. It's so hard for me not to want to keep this, but I can't keep everything because then I'll become a hoarder of all the pretty things, which I think is just comes with this kind of profession. For project 4, I'm going to be using milk paint for the last 2 projects. And you use a 1 part water, warm water, and then you use 1 part paint. And I always add just a little bit more of the paint because I like mine thick. And then I let it sit for 10 minutes to make it even thicker. Because I don't like having to do 5 coats of white paint, because sometimes that's what you got to do with certain paints. But if you let it sit for a while, you don't have to worry about that. Because I had to only do 1 coat on this. And then maybe like some in a few other spots. And I had the spindle laying around. So I'm trying to dwindle down some of what I have. So I'm going to make this into a hanger. Like a coat hanger. And I spray these with Rust-Oleum paint. I had gotten them from another project that I took off. And I'm like, well, I had these laying around. So, and I seen it on Pinterest. So I was like, well, I'm going to try to duplicate that. Except I did my own way of making this look very aged. So I'm using my heat gun to make it crackle. I did not use a bond. If you do not want the paint to crackle, use the bond. And the heat gun will make the paint crackle even more. And I messed up and held it in one spot right there where it's really crackled and chipped. I kind of burned it just a little bit. Me and a heat gun are not best friends. And if you do not get the way you want it to, you can actually reactivate it with either water or putting more paint on it, and then you can go back and heat gun it again. And then I'm sealing with DIY's clear wax, and I've got to order me some more of that because I'm about out. You can see my little tub's emptied. And then I go in with a dark wax to make it look a little bit more aged. And then I'll wipe it down because I don't want it too dingy. And then here I'm just screwing in my little hooks. And then I add a little, the hanger on the back to hang it on the wall. I don't get that on video though. This is probably one of my favorite projects I've done in a while. And I'll have this online for sale and in the shop. For project 5, I kind of just threw this one in. I'd had it laying around and I had some leftover milk paint and I do not like to waste it, so I tried to find some other stuff to paint. And I wanted to give this an age look, and I only did one full coat on this thing. You can see my little fingerprint there, but it kind of scrapes out when I sand it down. I did not want it to be perfect. I just wanted to get a coat of paint and make it look old. The only thing that I did not like about it was you can see the running lines on the front, but I'm going to fix that later on. And I end up just clear waxing after I sand it down just to seal it. I ended up not fixing that because it didn't end up looking as bad as I thought it was going to. And then I just used vinegar cleaner to get the paint off the mirror. And it looked like it had something that was attached to the top, but I'm not sure. I tried to do a Google lens and couldn't find anything. But I hope you guys enjoyed all of this. Please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my website, k.currinfurnitureco.com. Thanks. Have a good Labor Day, guys.